Fever star Sophie Cunningham reveals major personal change. All right, here it says, the Indiana Fever have been on a great run the past 2 seasons. In 2024, they finished with a 20-20 record. Their first 500 finish since 2016. That's Caitlin Clark coming in there and changing the culture like that. Just like that. Here it says, not only that, but they also won the WNBA Commissioner Cup.
Sophie Cunningham just dropped 16 pounds. Lexi Hall is launching a cosmetics empire, and both of them are making these massive moves for the exact same reason. They play basketball with Caitlin Clark. This isn't coincidence. This is the Caitlin Clark effect operating at full power, and what's happening with these two players reveals something bigger about how one superstar is transforming everyone around her.
Enforcer, and that is well deserved, because when the Connecticut Goons wanted to ambush and act like they was doing a heist or a robbery on Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham was the only one that stood on business and held Caitlin Clark down. This was after she was ejected during a game against the Connecticut Sun for grabbing J.C. Sheldon.
Let's start with the numbers that matter. Indiana Fever finished 20-20 in 2024, their first 500 season since 2016. That's 8 years of mediocrity erased in one season. They won the Commissioner's Cup. They made it to the semifinals. And Cunningham became known as the Fever's enforcer after that Connecticut Sun incident where she was the only teammate who actually stood up for Clark when things got physical. She got ejected for grabbing Dejounte Carrington, but she sent a message: you come at our star, you deal with consequences. Now here's what makes Cunningham's transformation significant. She played 6 years in Phoenix, averaging 7 points per game. Solid role player, nothing spectacular. Then Indiana trades for her specifically to play alongside Clark, and suddenly she's shooting 47% from the field and 43% from 3, career highs across the board. She's not just playing better, she's becoming a completely different caliber of player.
After Cunningham suffered a season-ending injury, she tore her right MCL during a game against the Sun, ironically, when guard Bria Hartley landed on her leg as she was playing prison ball. Here it says, as she is recovering from her season-ending knee injury, Cunningham shared that she underwent a major change this offseason. Previously listed at 165 pounds, revealed that she is now down to 148.5 pounds.
But the physical transformation is what tells you how serious she is about next season. Cunningham was listed at 165 pounds. She's now down to 148.5. That's a 16-pound cut for a professional athlete in the offseason. And she's not done. She says she needs to gain 5 pounds back, which means she's targeting 153. This isn't about looking different. This is about performance optimization. Think about what that weight cut means. Cunningham watched Caitlin Clark all season. She saw how Clark plays, constant movement, pushing pace, running the floor on every possession. Clark herself dropped weight in the offseason, getting back to that Iowa conditioning where she could run for 40 minutes straight. Cunningham recognized what's coming. She knows Clark is going to push the tempo even harder next season, and if you can't keep up, you're going to be a liability.
CC, you know what that means? She's going to be running like a track star. Sophie Cunningham knows, I got to be in shape to run with Caitlin this year. Y'all remember when Aaliyah Boston's first year with the Indiana Fever, when Caitlin Clark got there? She knew second year, oh no, I got to come in slimmer because this girl is going to be running. Sophie Cunningham realized the same thing. I'm going to cut down about 10 pounds. I was already in good shape. I'm going to come in even better shape.
Remember what happened with Aaliyah Boston. First year playing with Clark, Boston realized she needed to be lighter, faster, more mobile. She came back slimmer for her second season because playing with Caitlin Clark demands a different level of conditioning. You're not jogging up and down the court anymore. You're sprinting. Every possession, every game. Cunningham is making the same calculation. Drop the weight now, build the endurance, show up ready to run. And this matters for Indiana's championship aspirations. They lost in the semifinals last year. They were good, but not good enough. The difference between good and championship level often comes down to these details. Who's in better shape? Who can maintain their performance in the fourth quarter? Who can keep up when the pace gets frantic? Cunningham is preparing for that reality.
Launching on brand. Lexi Hall enters the 2026 WNBA offseason as a free agent after completing her 4th season with the Indiana Fever, the former 6th overall pick in the 2022 WNBA draft has carved out a strong role with the Fever and was one of the most important pieces in Indiana's run to the WNBA semifinals last season. Hall played in every game, providing stability as the Fever were hit with multiple season-ending injuries to key stars, including Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham.
Now let's talk about Lexi Hall, because what she's doing off the court is just as revealing. Hall played every single game last season for Indiana. Every game. That's remarkable durability for a player who was constantly defending the opponent's best scorer while the Fever dealt with multiple season-ending injuries. She averaged 7 points and 4 rebounds, but those numbers don't capture her actual value. She was the defensive anchor when everything else was falling apart. Hall entered the 2025 offseason as a free agent after 4 years with the Fever. She was the 6th overall pick in 2022, and she steadily developed into a legitimate two-way player. But here's what's changed. She's now building an off-court brand that would have been impossible without the Caitlin Clark spotlight.
She was on the damn NFL Tonight, all types of stuff. That is due to the Caitlin Clark effect in being on Caitlin Clark's team. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake about it. Here it says, in early 2025, she co-founded a cosmetics company called Forta Cosmetics with plans to launch its first set of product this year. The brand is designed for active people, especially athletes, with products that resist sweat and
In early 2025, Hall co-founded Forta Cosmetics. This isn't a sponsorship deal where she's getting paid to promote someone else's product. This is her own company. She's a founder. She and her business partner, Sarah Guller, created a cosmetics line specifically designed for athletes. Makeup that resists sweat, stays put during intense physical activity. Products built for people who actually move. On Tuesday, Hall used her Instagram to announce that Forta products are launching soon. She's building a legitimate business, and the timing isn't accidental. Playing with Caitlin Clark gave her a platform. Suddenly, Lexi Hall has visibility. She has followers. She has leverage to actually launch a brand and have people pay attention. Compare this to Sophie Cunningham appearing in National Arby's commercials. Cunningham showing up on NFL broadcasts. These opportunities don't exist without the Clark effect. These players were talented before. Cunningham had 6 solid years in Phoenix. Hall was a lottery pick. But talent without visibility doesn't translate to commercial opportunities. Clark brought the visibility. Her teammates are capitalizing.
With the mission to make makeup that performs as hard as its users do. All right, here it says Indiana Fever guard Lexi Hall launching a cosmetics brand called Forta. It's the first DTC play not tied into a broader sponsorship deal that I've seen from the current crop of young WNBA players. All right, man. So Lexi Hall is making moves off the floor, just as Sophie Cunningham. And make no mistake about it, it's because they are part of Tres Leches. There's no Tres Leches and no Caitlin Clark. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. And you know, Lexi Hall, she gonna come in tip-top shape, ready to go, ready to guard the best player every game. Listen, between Tres Leches is gonna be ready. I can't speak for everybody. Aaliyah Boston probably should be MVP and unrivaled, by the way, but Tres Leches is gonna show up ready to do what they do. They're gonna be ready. They're gonna be ready. Sign the damn deal. Get down in the comments, let me know what you...
Here's what makes this particularly interesting for the WNBA's future. For years, the league has struggled with the economic reality that most players need overseas income to make a living wage. The WNBA season pays well for stars, but role players often make more money playing in Europe or Asia during the off-season than they do in their primary league. That's a broken economic model. But the Caitlin Clark effect is creating an alternative revenue stream. If you're a role player on Indiana's roster, you now have opportunities that didn't exist 2 years ago. Brand partnerships, endorsement deals, the ability to launch your own business and actually have customers. Cunningham and Hall are proving that playing alongside a generational talent doesn't just make you better on the court, it makes you more valuable off it. This matters for roster construction going forward. Indiana can potentially offer players something beyond salary. They can offer visibility and commercial opportunity. That's a recruiting advantage. When free agents are deciding between similar contract offers, the chance to play with Clark and build your personal brand becomes a tiebreaker. And watch what happens with contract negotiations. Hall is a free agent right now. She's deciding where to play next season. Indiana needs to bring her back. She's too important defensively, and her chemistry with the core group is established. But Hall now has leverage beyond her basketball production. She can point to the business she's building, the platform she's developed, and argue that staying in Indiana has value beyond the contract numbers. The CBA negotiations happening right now are focused on revenue sharing and salary caps. But what Cunningham and Hall are demonstrating is that player value in the WNBA is becoming more complex. It's not just about what the team pays you, it's about what opportunities the team's visibility creates for you. Indiana, because of Clark, offers opportunities that most WNBA franchises simply cannot match. Think about the contrast here. Cunningham spent 6 years in Phoenix as a solid contributor. She was good, she was professional, but she wasn't building a national brand. She wasn't appearing in commercials or launching businesses. Then she gets traded to Indiana, plays 30 games alongside Clark, and suddenly everything changes. That's not because she became a dramatically better player overnight. She improved, sure, but the real difference is visibility. Hall's situation is even more telling. She's a fourth-year player who spent her entire career with Indiana, but it's only now, after 1 season with Clark, that she has the platform to launch a legitimate business venture. The talent was always there. The work ethic was always there. What changed was the spotlight. And here's the uncomfortable truth that the rest of the WNBA has to grapple with. This creates a competitive imbalance that goes beyond basketball. If you're a talented role player trying to maximize your career earnings, playing with Caitlin Clark in Indiana offers opportunities that playing in Dallas or Washington or Seattle simply doesn't. That's not fair to those other franchises, but it's reality. The league has spent years trying to build parity through draft systems and salary caps. But you can't regulate visibility. You can't force commercial opportunities to distribute evenly across 12 franchises. The market decides who gets attention. And right now, the market has decided that Caitlin Clark is the story. Everyone around her benefits. So when Sophie Cunningham announces she's dropped 16 pounds and is coming back in the best shape of her career, that's not just personal dedication. That's a player recognizing the opportunity in front of her and doing everything possible to maximize it. When Lexi Hall launches a cosmetics company, that's not just entrepreneurship. That's a player leveraging the platform she's been given to build long-term financial security beyond basketball. This is the Caitlin Clark effect operating at full power. It's not just about winning games or selling tickets or breaking television ratings records. It's about transforming the economic reality for everyone in her orbit. Cunningham and Hall are the proof of concept. They're showing what's possible when you're part of the Clark ecosystem. And here's what makes this sustainable. Both players are doing the work. Cunningham isn't just riding Clark's coattails. She's putting in the effort to become a better player, dropping weight, improving her conditioning, preparing to contribute at a higher level. Hall isn't just cashing endorsement checks. She's building an actual business with a real product designed for a specific market. They're earning their opportunities through performance and effort. The question for the rest of the WNBA becomes, how do you compete with this? How do you convince talented players to sign with your franchise when Indiana can offer not just a competitive team and a chance to win, but also a platform that can transform their entire career trajectory? The answer isn't obvious, and it's going to force some uncomfortable conversations about competitive balance and market dynamics. For now, though, Cunningham and Hall are showing exactly why playing with Caitlin Clark is the most valuable opportunity in women's basketball. The basketball success is real, 20-20, Commissioner's Cup Championship playoff run. But the off-court opportunities might be even more valuable in the long run. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. That's why these announcements matter, and that's why Indiana's roster is going to be one of the most sought-after destinations in the WNBA for years to come. So drop a comment. Do you think other WNBA teams can compete with the platform advantage Indiana has because of Caitlin Clark? Or is this creating a competitive imbalance that the league needs to address? Let me know what you think. And if you want more coverage of how the Clark effect is reshaping the WNBA's economics and competitive landscape, make sure you're subscribed because this story is just getting started.